by the time I was almost 40 years old and I had that crash, I was just used up. I was wore out, used up, and I remember waking up when I came out of that coma and thinking, I don't want to be here anymore. I blew it. I blew it. I didn't understand. I thought it was all about success. And success to me meant a booming business and making all this money. And I missed the boat, because success was really having your health. That's really what it was. So I was actually born in Northwest Iowa, where I lived 22 years, and ventured out to California for about the mid-'80s. I ended up in Los Angeles, and I lived there until just about the last 8 years. I've kind of gone back and forth between Los Angeles and Las Vegas, but I really fell in love with Las Vegas, and now I live up here full time now in Las Vegas, but it's just been an incredible time. Las Vegas has turned into such a beautiful city. I just love it up here, and great place to live. I'm passionate about wellness, health and vitality, racing, weight training. Those are all my loves. When I left Iowa, came to California, I got in the residential construction business. I actually became a general contractor, started building mansions for movie stars for about 30 years, and enjoyed it a lot, but started eventually having health issues. I was under so much stress that I was just so much stress on my body with the construction company that it started taking a toll on my hormones, and I ended up with hormone deficiencies, and then started having some health issues where just real low energy and fatigue and a lot of joint pain and things like that. I started exploring, trying to figure out what my health issues were. Figured out that I had hormone deficiencies, fixed those hormone deficiencies about 25 years ago. And when I fixed those deficiencies, within about 3 weeks, I felt so good. I thought, that just literally gave me my whole life back. And I felt so good that I thought, man, this is pretty crazy that you can feel this good again after what I had gone through. And I thought, this is going to be the biggest thing in the world, this hormone optimization. And so I created a company called Beverly Hills Rejuvenation Center, where people could go to get their hormones addressed, their hormone deficiencies addressed. And so for the last, that was about 25 years ago when I went on my own journey. And then about 5 years after that, started Beverly Hills Rejuvenation Center. So the last 20 years, have worked on that, developing that company. We got a bunch of locations around the world, around the U.S., and starting to go internationally here now. Then a couple of years ago, I ran across the EESystem technology, and I was just shocked at what this would do for your health, and it just really kind of took everything I was already doing. The hormone optimization stuff was fantastic, but when I learned what you could do with this frequency healing, this EESystem just took everything to a whole nother level. Because when you go into these centers, we developed Tony Robbins. I called Tony and told him about the system, and of course he explored it. He was blown away, I was blown away, and I said, we got to open up a center. And I told him that, man, we've just got to figure out a way to get this so that people can utilize this technology, this EESystem technology. And I told him I really wanted to open a place up here in Las Vegas on the west side, and wanted to make the system affordable so that people could, more or less like a gym membership, where people could come regularly and really use this to benefit their health. And so it's just taken everything I was already doing to a whole new level by being able to utilize this technology here at Regenerative Health System. It's just made everything so much better. Just really optimized my health. So for me, I think, I really felt like it was all about hormones. And, and it was. For 25 years, I thought, what else do you need? Well, when I came across this technology, I realized, really, if you're not optimizing cellular voltage and getting the body into a state of alkalinity, which that's what this does, if you're not doing that, you're just missing the boat on health. Because your body is always acidic when you're walking around with low cellular voltage. When you get inside one of these centers and you charge all your cellular voltage up, it alkalizes your whole body. And so it just takes your health to a whole nother level. And you really can't ever have great health if you're not experiencing this EES system regularly and optimizing cellular voltage. So I just learned that if I really wanted to have optimal health, I was going to have this be a regular part of my life, where I was incorporating this technology and utilizing this regularly to really enhance longevity. I mean, I'm 64 years old now, and I'm just totally thrilled about my level of health and vitality at 64, but I just want to keep growing and continuing to learn new ways to take things to the next level. I'm on various peptides and things, and of course I've got this Cell Revita peptide that I've told you about, Sam, that's incredible, that turns all the stem cells back on in your body and gets your body regenerating and repairing. And it's just, there's so many great things that you can do to optimize your health. And as we all know, once you lose your health, you've lost everything. And money doesn't matter when you don't have health. So if you can do everything you can to keep your wellness and keep your health and your vitality going, age doesn't matter if you can keep turning back the clock and keep, functioning at a high level and not walking around with aches and pains all day. It takes about 1 hour in the EE system to get the cellular voltage where you want it. I like to tell people that, look, at minimum, I feel like we should spend an hour a day minimum in these places to get the body into an alkalized state. And then, it'd be great if you could even spend 2 hours, you know what I mean? If you could, not everybody has that much time available. An hour is kind of a minimum. A lot of people do overnights here a couple nights a week, and they'll stay in here like 10 hours. When you take that first hour and you get the body in an alkalized state, then it's after the body is alkalized when all the healing and nerve regeneration takes place. So you kind of want to do more than an hour if you can. An hour is kind of a minimum to me, just to kind of get yourself where you're maintaining health pretty well. But if you could do 2, it's even better. That's why we have a membership program that you can do 2 hours a day for $399 a month. You're just like a gym membership. You come in 2 hours a day, or you can do overnights instead. You get 60 hours a month to use how you see fit. And a lot of people are utilizing that as a way to kind of take their health to another level, because it just drives your energy way up. And it's real good for hormone optimization too. So it doesn't take that much time. It's like with anything, if you really kind of know what you're doing, you can achieve a great deal in a short period of time. So I rarely need to spend more than an hour in the gym at a time. And I'm 3 days on, 1 day off. And it just doesn't really take much more than that. It's actually pretty easy. I think so many people think working out is hard. It's not. not working out is hard. Working out is actually easy. And if you know what you're doing, you get in there and you utilize your time well, it's so easy to get the body in great shape and keep it there. It is not hard at all. What's hard is being out of shape and just walking around thinking, oh man, how am I going to get the energy to work out? Well, you optimize your hormones, you optimize your cellular voltage, and it's easy. The energy is there. You just go in, you knock it out 1 hour, you get in, get out, you do the things that you need to do to just keep that body strong and fit and healthy, and it just makes everything in life so much easier if you just keep that fitness part going. The hard part is when you're out of shape, trying to think about overcoming that and getting in the gym. It's so much easier just stay on top of it and just keep every day, just that little bit of time invested just makes everything in life so much easier, if you ask me. I had a gentleman in here. He came over to check out the EES system. He's building a gym down the street. His name is Mark. He started 24-Hour Fitness years ago. He and his wife came in and were really impressed with the technology, and he's building a gym right down the street, and he definitely had that thought as well. And of course, I thought about it a million times. If only these gyms really understood the power of this technology and started putting it in those gyms. I mean, it just takes things to a whole nother level, It just makes people feel so much more energy while they're in the gym. And, the only challenging part would be there's 400 centers around America now. So, it could be a little bit hard on those centers if they started just putting it in the gyms, then it might impact the economics on these centers around the country. So I don't know if they would ever really let them put it in gyms, because it might have a negative impact on all the centers that exist in terms of losing members. I don't think it would, because I think it would just make more people aware of this technology. It's like, I'm shocked every day that more people don't know about this, like how powerful it is. But, we just got to get the word out, and people have to just, I can't speak about the miracles that I see in here. But if you ever come into one of these places, you'll meet people and you'll hear their story of why they came and the changes they have gone through. I've seen amazing miracles happen. We've been open here in Boca Park for a year and a half, and I have seen miracles that are so shocking that I wouldn't have even thought it was possible to see what I've seen happen. So the importance and the significance of getting that body into an alkalized state is shocking. It really is. It's so important for health. It just takes your health to a whole nother level. And there's so many things that repair and regenerate with this technology that frequency healing is powerful, and it's proven to be very effective. If you go on their website, EESystem.com, you can just look at all the studies. It's shocking when you go on and you see all the repair and regeneration and all the macular degeneration reversal, and blind people regrowing the retinas in their eyeballs, and people with heart disease and kidney disease and all these things. You read in their studies, and the healing and the repair that it's created is pretty shocking. Tony and I, our goal was to make this affordable. So I said, look, so many places are charging between $30 and $60 an hour, and it becomes just, it's just unaffordable. Unless people are really wealthy, they just can't afford it. And I said, that's the problem. We've got to get the cost down. So my goal was to get a large space, a large room with lots of space so that a lot of people could occupy the room, and we could get the pricing down so that we could get it down to like $5 an hour, which is what, if you're on the monthly membership, you're only paying like $5 an hour to be in the system, which makes it affordable. And that was the whole goal. And Tony and I, we really wanted people to be able to have access to this, and you don't have to be a billionaire to have access to this. And now, regular people who are just trying to get their health corrected and get their quality of life up, they have an opportunity now to come to a place to get that done and make that happen. And that was the big goal. I just said, I just don't want to charge a lot of money for this. I just want it affordable so people will use it and get a significant amount of people coming in. Well, I think if you were going to get into the EES system, into that business, my advice would be create a center that's large enough where you can put a lot of people in the room and get the cost down, make it more affordable. Of course, affordability is always a key with any successful business. If it's affordable for more masses, you're going to get more people in. I think that's really important. And in the wellness industry in general, there's just so much you can do. It just like anything, you just got to get in. If you're passionate about it, there's now that there's AI, there's of course so much to learn. It's endless what you can learn, and the speed at which you can learn it now that you got AI. The last 25 years, me being in this industry, I had to dig and claw and figure things out all the way. And now people can adapt much faster and learn much faster than what it took us years to figure things out. Now you can figure things out in 30 minutes that used to take us 3 years. And you can just grow and learn so much faster than I ever could. So I think that right now it's just everything is just amplified. The opportunities are amplified for you to learn and grow and just have much more success available. I mean, everything is at our fingertips. There's so much information at our fingertips, and information is key. If you've got lots of information, there's so much you can do with it today. So when I look back, I was racing a car. I was in a NASCAR race over at Phoenix International Raceway, and I got in a bad crash, and they cut me out of the car. It took them 45 minutes with the jaws of life to cut me out of the car. There was a black box inside the car that measured G-forces. Well, NASCAR took that black box out, and the engineers put it on their technology, and they said the impact was 7 times what it would take to kill a human being. And they looked at me and said, there's no chance that you could be alive. It's not even possible. You could never have survived what you survived. They actually broke the Hans device, the straps that go to the helmet. I snapped the straps. And they said, you're here for a reason. And we can't explain, there's no explanation how you survived the crash, but you're here. And obviously it wasn't your time, because there's just no logical reason for you to have survived. And I woke up, I was in a coma for about 6 hours, and I woke up out of that coma and I thought, I wish I had died, because I was in so much pain, aches and pains and exhaustion, and I had spent all my time working, trying to make my business successful. I had this construction company that was booming, and I was doing really well and making a lot of money, and my whole focus was on my business, and I wasn't focused on my health. I was working out, but I was just abusing my body in every way. I wasn't really taking care of myself at all. I was just beating myself to death. I would go to the gym for 2 hours a day. I would drink 5-6 cups of coffee a day. I worked, like 14, 15 hours a day. And it was just, I was just beating then I went and raced cars for fun too. That was my off time, was just racing. So everything in my body was just stress, stress, stress. Well, by the time I was almost 40 years old and I had that crash, I was just used up. I was wore out, used up. And I remember waking up when I came out of that coma and thinking, I don't want to be here anymore. I blew it. I blew it. I didn't understand. I thought it was all about success. And success to me meant a booming business and making all this money. And I missed the boat, because success was really having your health. That's really what it was. And I realized I didn't have my health anymore. I just beat myself to death. And it was never about health. It was always about just making myself stronger and having more energy. But I never really addressed what was really just going to be good for my health, right? So that was my wake-up call when I came out of that coma, and I felt like I didn't even care if I lived another day. And I thought, Dan, you really missed it. You got to turn things around. Now you got to start figuring out how to do this with some balance in your life, right? So I figured out that I had to find out what's going on with my health, why I had so many aches and pains, and why I felt exhausted all the time. I had a lot of depression and fatigue and all this. That's when I did some blood work and figured out that I had no hormones. My hormones were gone. And I went to doctor after doctor, and I said, why don't I have any hormones? And they said, well, we don't really know anything about this stuff. So I found a guy in Europe who said, well, this is a common thing. You're almost 40 years old. This is common to see hormone deficiencies, and we treat it all the time. And he said, it's no big deal. You just fix the deficiencies. Well, I took his advice, and after about 3 weeks of taking various hormones, I literally, my whole life turned around, and I felt like I had been just completely, I felt like I had a whole new world. And I realized that that was the piece of the puzzle that was missing for me. I needed to really focus on not just beating myself to death, but focusing on healthy things that would really keep me in alignment with not just out there trying to grow businesses and make money, but focusing on my health, focusing on keeping that body strong and rested and providing everything I needed to keep that body so that I could keep pushing hard and keep moving forward. And boy, once you lose your health, you are done. And so you really got to stay focused on that and keep healthy choices and make sure that you're doing everything you can to optimize health along the way. Well, you know, Tony Robbins says it better than anyone. You get what you focus on. And every time that I find myself starting to head down and I start getting a feeling in my body that feels a little off, then I realize I'm focusing on the negative and I'm not focusing on what I want. I'm focusing on the problem. I'm not focusing on the solution. Challenges are going to come all day, every day. They're just things. Things come. They're going to keep coming. If you think because you're rich you're not going to come, wrong. No matter who you are, no matter where you are, things are coming to you and they're going to happen. And you just as well figure that they're happening for you because they're coming. And if you decide they're a problem, then they're a problem. If you decide they're just a thing that came and you just have to focus on the best way to get through it, you start focusing on just living in gratitude and just going, all right, hey, I'm here. I'm lucky to be here. There's a lot of people that would love to have my problems. I'm just going to focus on, I'm a fortunate human being, I've been blessed, and I'm just going to continue to move through life and focus on solutions to any challenge that comes my way. Focus on what you want. Focus on solving anything that comes, and just know that 99% of the time, it isn't nearly as big of a problem as you think it is when it first comes anyway. It almost always ends up being that whatever happened somehow will serve you. When you look back over your shoulder 6 months later, you go, man, if that hadn't happened, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. So these challenges that come along, these things that come along, often end up being really beneficial for you on your journey. And just keep focusing on solutions. I think consistency is absolutely key, and too many people focus on, like, they get so charged up, they want to achieve so much so fast. I think if you just learn to be disciplined, and I think discipline is the word, and I think, like, you never wake up and wonder if you're going to brush your teeth. There's no decision to make. When you wake up, of course you brush your teeth. Because if you want teeth, you have to brush them, right? So I look at my life and I just go, there's certain things that you have to do to have a healthy, fit body and a sound mind. And that means discipline, in that you don't make a decision if you're going to work out today. There's no decision to make. If you have a body, then you have to have physical stress in the body. It has to be there. If you have teeth, you have to brush the teeth. You have to floss your teeth. It's not a decision to make. Too many people think it's a decision to make. That's where you go wrong. There is no decision to make. If you make a decision, do I go to the gym today or do I not? That has no place in your life. If you have a body, the decision was already made. Don't give yourself the opportunity to make the decision. Wake up, brush your teeth, go to the gym, eat healthy, do all the things you need to do, stay focused on and being consistent and doing those things that you need to do to take care of your body. Stop giving yourself an opportunity to make a decision whether you're going to do it or not. Just stay focused and disciplined, and just make it part of your life that you absolutely do. Whether you're tired or not makes no difference. You're still going to go, and you're going to do what you're going to do. You have to do it. There's no question you're going to do it. Even if you fly across country, you're going to land, you're going to go to a gym in that city, wherever you're at over there, and you're going to work out, because that's what you do. You get your days off that you get, and that's it. And then everything else, you just stay focused, stay disciplined. You know, now I'm actually, I'm not putting in as many hours as I used to. I'm kind of, I actually come into the EES system during the day and spend a couple hours in here. I used to be so focused on pushing so hard all the time. Now I'm more focused on trying to keep myself mentally and physically in the right position, so that when I do make decisions and I do decide what I want to achieve, I'm in a really good state of mind to achieve it, rather than just pushing so hard all the time and staying so driven that I just don't have any time to take care of myself. I treat myself better by making sure that I spend those few hours a day towards my health, between gym, between the EES system, and things that I'm doing to take care of myself. I stay focused mentally, taking in a lot of information to help keep my mind focused on keeping mentally on the right path, so that once again you're focusing on solutions rather than problems. and trying to live in as much gratitude as I can possibly live in so that I keep myself in the right state of mind. Just really trying to expose myself to as many interesting, creative people that, who you hang out with is so important. I make sure that I'm around people that are always on the cutting edge with, new innovative technologies, and just trying to, Tony says it well, and it's all about proximity, right? Surrounding yourself with people you want to be more like. And you just get so inspired and so excited by so many things that you hear and learn about every day. And you just get around all these people that are so intelligent and successful, and you just tap into so many new interesting things and just learn and grow and keep filling the mind with information. And you run into so many interesting things every day if you just keep, around the right people, I think. And you just get inspired, you know what I mean? It's so easy to be inspired being around the right people. I always hate to say mistake. For me, I just figure that no matter what happens, it happened for you. And it came into your life, and it was there to teach you. It wasn't a mistake. It was always something. There's a lot of things that have happened that at the time they happened, and I made a decision, I thought it was a mistake, but now when I look back, I go, you know what? I wouldn't say it was a mistake. I would say it happened. I made a decision. The decision I made sent me down a path that was different maybe than the path that I maybe would have wanted to be on. But no matter what you do, you always get an opportunity to learn and grow from anything that comes. And I just think that, as long as you just don't beat yourself up too bad, you make a decision based on what you know at the time, and you do the best you can. And then no matter what it is, something good, I always say there's no minus without plus. There's no plus without minus. For it's always something that happens that is really challenging, something really good's going to come out of it. And something really good, you might see that some challenges come out of it too. There's always going to be, there's always so many different ways to look at things, but once again, 6 months down the road, you look back and you'll realize whatever decision you made really wasn't necessarily a mistake. It was just what you did at the time, and you made a decision. Don't look back, look forward, put a smile on your face, and just keep doing the best you can, and try and focus on what you want and not on any negativity from the past. It's interesting. I don't really know how to answer that. I'm not so much concerned about when I leave, what I left behind. I'm just more interested in, while I'm here, just trying to help as many people as I can find their way through. I meet a lot of people who have challenges that I had, and I love helping people, educating people on, my past and my journey, and sharing with them what I went through so that it gives them an opportunity to, consider whether it's something that they may want to look into and start dealing with to try and address health issues that they're having. So, I just hope that I'm able to help enough people while I'm here to where, definitely hope I change enough lives, and that it leaves the world a little bit better place than when I came. I think people are going to find out about this. I think we're early to the game. And I think when more people find out just how powerful this technology is, they're going to flood into these EE systems, and they're going to start just, I think we're just early to the game, and I think that, because I can see it even with this location here, I see more people every month start realizing that this is something that they really need to have as a part of their wellness program. And I just think that it's going to be, I think these places are going to be hard to get into eventually, because there's going to be so many people swamping into them. And I think there's going to need to be more centers opened up eventually. You know, it might be a couple years yet before people realize just how powerful this stuff is, but the word is getting out, and it's starting to circulate, and we're starting to see more and more people come through that front door. I would do everything I could to spread the word more about the healing properties that this technology brings. I would work really hard at putting the message out more and more and more. There's another product called Cell Revita that I'm really passionate about, that helps repair and rejuvenate the body in a way that's shocking. And of course, the Beverly Hills Rejuvenation Center company, I would love to get the message out more about hormone optimization, how much it changes your life, and just make more people aware of what it is that you can do. I mean, I can't imagine, when I look back where I was 25 years ago, I was at a place where I didn't even really feel like going on in life. Here I am 25 years later with so much passion, so much zest for life. And I think about people out there that don't know about what's available, what you can do. And I would love to spend more time spreading that information out there, making the world aware of what can be done, and how that this is all stuff that can be solved, and you can turn your whole life around very quickly and very affordably with just a few good decisions here and there that can just change your whole life. Gratitude. Gratitude, it would be, you know what, no matter what happened or what's happening, there's always somebody right across the street that would love to be you. They would love to have your problem that you think you have right now. Whatever it is that you think you're dealing with that's tough and that's stressful and that's, really a challenge, there's somebody right across the street that's got so much more on their plate. They would love to be you. I just, when you see these guys that they don't have any arms or any legs, and they're motivational speakers, and they're up on a stage smiling and just trying to, give themselves to the room and that, and you just think, man, how dare me feel sorry for myself or be in a bad mood or think anything. Like, look at this person, that just goes out. They've got the obstacles I couldn't even dream of, the obstacles that they deal with on a daily basis, and they're able to just keep themselves motivated and excited and passionate. It's all about gratitude, and it's all about, no matter what, there's always someone that would love to have your problems. So we've all got to suck it up, know that we're just all so blessed to be here, have an opportunity to have a life, make the best out of this life that you can, focus on your health, focus on wellness, and just focus on keeping yourself mentally focused on solving problems, solutions, stay in gratitude. Well, Tony Robbins, of course, is such an inspiration to me. He just, he was always kind of my, my go-to for inspiration. Yeah, no, he's just been an incredible gift in my life, of course, inspiring me so much. His wife, Sage, is another one. You talk about an incredible human being. Like, she's just absolutely amazing. That is a power couple that is hard to even, like, they're the most authentic, kind, loving, caring, compassionate people I've ever met. They're two absolutely phenomenal people. And another person in my life that I met 23 years ago is my girlfriend, who is literally a gift from God. I was fortunate enough to meet Lainey, and she is the most incredible human being and been by my side for 23 years and has been such an inspiration to me. One of the most amazing, positive, grateful human beings you could ever meet. And I was so fortunate to have her show up in my life. And I got to mention her as being just another total inspiration. I'm lucky enough to be able to live my life with her. And she's just an incredible human being. So I definitely have to mention her as somebody who's just inspired me to be a better person every day of my life,